and singers and came onto the window, playing for my sister. And he went, he took out his gun and he shot himself right out of the window. That was a terrible thing in that little town. A police chief killed himself for a Jewish girl. You know, we had to move away from there. That town was the name of Bilke. It was called Bilke. From that town we moved away to Hust. It was Bilke, where we lived. And then we moved to Hust. Hust. Now that was a little bigger town. It was around 40,000 people. Anyway, we had to move from there. And what happened is my father got a terrible cold, and he became what they called pneumonia, and he died there. You know, those times he was 55 years old and he died. That time I was 7 years old. Now what had happens in 7 years, I had one brother of mine was 5 years older from me. Every day he took me to the temple to pray. We prayed and he took me with him to the temple. All right, we lived there for a while in Hust. Now, those times, the way people were paying taxes, a guy from the tax department used to go to homes looking what they have. Now my mother had about 15, 20 girls working for her, so the guy came to check what we have for taxes. And he saw my sister, he fell in love with my sister again. And he goes to my mother and he says, if he doesn't marry her, he kills himself right in here. Here we go again. It's terrible.
What year is this?
I was 7 years old. I don't remember the years.
So this is the
I was
1920, 21,
born in
something like
1919.
that. Okay, good. So this is 1920, 25, 26, right in there.
Something.
Okay, go ahead, continue.
Anyway, he says, I'm going to go. We had a rabbi in our town. I'm going to go to the rabbi, I'm going to become Jewish, and I have to marry her. I can live without her. What could they do? He went to the rabbi, he became Jewish, and they got married there. He was a priest's son. That's all we needed. Right away, no job. They took him away from all, he couldn't get a job. What is he going to do? You see, in a town like that, he opened up a little office in town. People used to come to make out stuff. He made them out, writings and stuff. That's how he made a living. But he made a living. Anyway, they got married, and they were living there. And what did I do anything that time? No. The time was growing. I was around 9, 10 years old. I had 2 brothers I had in Budapest, because for my father, all his brothers and all the relatives was in Budapest. One of his brothers had a bakery and a beautiful big grocery store. So he took one of my brothers to be working in his store. And by that time, he became already older, and he bought himself a store, and my older brother was a tailor, only for ladies stuff. And he stayed there in Budapest. So they sent every month a check from my mother. We were a very close family. Now, all right, my brother, he belonged to what you mean, a motorcycle club. There he went for a tour and he fell down, he broke his arm. He rides home, he needs somebody from home right away to help. He had 6 boys working in his store, but he wants somebody by the register. Not do I know about Hungarian money or anything. Somebody, he has to come and help me out. So my mother, she should rest in peace. She went and she got me a passport, sent me to Budapest. I didn't even remember my brother. What's happening? He says, a lady will wait by the station. There's no place but the station we used to go. And she'll have flowers and a sign. She's waiting for me, and she'll pick me up, and she'll take me to the store there. Now the store was downstairs, and upstairs was rooms. My brother had a beautiful apartment right on top of the store there. I arrived there, and so it was a big, very nice and everything. He started putting me to the register, take a pencil and paper, and I'll show you all the monies. This is a nickel, this is a dime, and wrote down, and he showed me there. I had to write all this money down and learn at night the money. And then I stayed for a while by the register. And you see, those times you came to shop, there was not something you came and you went and you took yourself. You had to wait till somebody was waiting on you. You need a kilo of this, a kilo of that. And they were waiting, put it on the counter. You were finished, they added it up, you paid for it. We had 4 guys who was delivering, and they used to take home the groceries. That was those times, the way you shopped. Mm-hmm. And I got already around 10, 11 years old. I am working there in the store. And I learned how to wait on customers. This was already, the register was too easy. He was getting better and everything. And I like to help, I like to work in the store, not just to wait. I was so good that people were standing in line and nobody was busy, they were waiting, I should wait on them. There was nice young women, married women always coming to shop. There was a doctor's wife, she got crazy about it. I don't know why, but she was waiting the last minute, I should wait for her, and I should take her home. So anyway, that's how the holidays, they were fighting over me, where I should be. I must have been very handsome and tough, big, already. All right, it came, this was the end of my childhood there. It came, I became 20 years old, and Hitler took over.
Took over Budapest.
Not just Budapest, Hungary, I mean, he took over Germany. And
so the Germans marched into town,
and
took over.
Hungary went right with him. And Hungary occupied the part where we were living, because before the World War I, that was Hungarian. They took it back, the Hungarians. Now, the Hungarians went and they took all the Jewish boys to working camps. They started from 20 years to take them. In the beginning, they gave us uniforms with a yellow band on it. They Chernobyl Jews. Now that's how they made in Budapest, not in Budapest, in Solno. It was called the Talos, called Solno, where they took the guys and put them to stay there and make two groups they fixed up there in this Solno. And so, excuse me.
Yeah, it's all right. Mike, let me ask you a question. The day, you were working and in the shop doing what you were doing and being great at it, but what happened when all of a sudden you were working, somebody said, Mike, the Nazis are taking over, everything's going to change today, this day, they just marched into town, or the Hungarian police are doing it for the Germans. What was that day, that moment when you found out, oh Jesus, this is bad?
First of all, you see, I didn't see my mother, and my mother was very close with me. I was thinking they already had my name and everything, so I couldn't just disappear. When the first train I took, that was at 6 o'clock at night. At 6 o'clock in the morning, I was in Ulst. I had to go to see my mother. I didn't say that about you for nothing. This was the last time I saw my mother. My mother says, what can we do? We can do nothing. You cannot stay here because they'll find you and they'll kill you. And it was a mix-up. Everybody was scared. And what could we do? Nothing. They took us like animals, Anyway, I was a week at home that time. I was hiding around. And I was a week after that. I had to go back to Solno, and they saw me there. I'm there. All right. They put us in barracks there and waiting what will happen now. An officer in the other group, I had there a cousin in the other group. There were 4 brothers, cousins. One of them they took and he was in there, the youngest, Yoshka. So what that officer, every morning when they came out, we stay in line and they were counting us, how much bread and how much soup, what to make for us for eating. That officer went through the lines and hated everybody. You this, you the names, just for fun of it. He was going around just like that.
Was he a Jew?
No, he was a Hungarian officer.
Okay.
Just for fun of it, he had fun. He enjoyed himself. My cousin was the Winklers were very strong guys. He got so tired of it that he goes every morning and he hears some hits him. God damn it, he came over to him and he hit him and he went there and gave him. Once this officer fell down there, they took him to the hospital and my cousin, they took him to jail. He didn't stay in jail because when we moved, they took him and that was it. But he couldn't stand it. You know something? They went and they took them officers, they put them in our group. He came out to our group, we started to do the same thing. I have to laugh. The minute he heard Michael Winkler, he turned around, he went up. The whole town knew that my cousin, what he did. The minute he heard Winkler, he just didn't even come close to me. So what happens, we're there, and we had a little warehouse where we had the uniforms. One officer in the morning, he took us out from the group, and he took us to that little warehouse. There was pants, there was shirt, there was shoes, and a bunch. So everybody, 5 of us, had to put that nice together. Yeah, and there was bed sheets. We go in there in that little office, and we start to put together. I took the linen, the sheets, and I put a nice little box out of it. The officer comes to pick us up at night. He looks around, he says, "Who put that together?" I go, "I did." He doesn't say I got that word. Took us back. In the morning he goes and he calls me, takes me out of the line, and he puts me back there. I say, "What am I going to do here? Nothing to do. You stay here, and if somebody needs to change something, you'll take care of this little office, little warehouse here." Fine, well, you're not going to go out to work. From that Solnok, they took us to the town where I was born, Bilke. So anyway, they took us there. What happens? They took away from us the uniforms. We had to be in our own clothes, no more uniforms. Officer comes, "What am I going to do with you now?" "I don't want you to go to work." Where we went to my town, they were building for airplanes to stop.
An airport.
An airport for airplanes. Says, "I don't want to let you go to work." The Hungarians were so mean, worse than the Germans. They always said, "Sooner we kill you, sooner we'll go home." That was their. So anyway, what happens, he says, "Can you cook?" I say, "I cannot even eat." He gets a good laugh. He says, "Okay, come with me." Takes me to the kitchen. Now the main cook in the kitchen had 8 more months to stay, and then he was going back home. He was from Hungary, from a place they had a big, beautiful restaurant. He was one of the best cooks. And he went over to him. He says, "Listen, you're staying here another 8 months, and I want you to teach Mike." They called me Miklos in Hungarian. "You will teach him how to cook, because he's going to cook for the 250 boys, and for the officers, and for the soldiers, for the Hungarian soldiers. He'll take over your cooking." He says, "Good." The minute he went away, he says, "You will stay right here. This is your place from now on." And that guy teach me to cook. I was one of the best cooks. Those officers loved my cooking and everything. Well, anyway, I was cooking for 250 Jewish boys, 50 soldiers and 49 officers. For the officers, I cooked different stuff. For the rest of the soldiers, I cooked the same thing that I cooked for the people. You eat the same shit. Anyway, I cooked, when I took over, when the guy went back home, I took with me 2 butchers in. I had 2 butchers there. I took them in to work for me. They were getting beef, and they were cutting the animals, whatever that I needed. They prepared everything for me for meat, and the rest. So I started to cook and had plenty stuff what to cook. I got whatever I wanted. I could go to the store and take what I want and just sign for it, and they could go to the office to receive their money if they did. Anyway, what happened after about 4 or 5 months, I see people from town come with dishes and waiting, because lunchtime was the big meal. I served the lunch in around 12:30, first for the officers and then for the rest of, I say, people coming with dishes. And in the stores, they could hardly get anything anymore. It was getting very bad. What the hell am I going to do? That town, they all know me and everything, and they were waiting for a little meal. I had leftovers, I used to give it to them. And then I say, my God, what will happen if an officer sees me, they'll put me in jail. I'll never forget that day. An officer went through and I was getting some food. And he comes over to me and says, Miklos, I'm so proud of you. I like to see what you're doing. You feed the people, you don't throw away that food. You're feeding those people. From now on, this all belongs to you. Whatever you want to do, you do it. The kitchen belongs to you, the food and everything. You do anything you want, it's yours. It belongs to you. Oh my God. You didn't see what that meant to me. I saw those poor people. I could shop and do and get stuff, and the butchers said, make sure we have enough food. More and more people are coming. So anyway, my poor mother, she should rest if she used to come to visit me. They didn't know what to do. Shouting, Nini, your son is keeping us alive. You know what's happening when you get food, when you need food. I went down to the baker and I said, I want one wagon of bread for the town and one for my soldiers. He looks at me, where am I going to? I don't care where you get it, but you better bake it for me. And I just had to sign it. You go and cash your money. You should see those poor people when I used to give them a bread. They were very happy and everything. So anyway, we were staying there about 9 months. After the 9 months, they took us to Romania. In Romania, there was another group of working camp. From the 2 camps, they made 1 camp to take to Russia to help for the soldiers, whatever they need. The Jews will do the work and they will just find us. Now, I had 4 very close friends in the group, in our group. And I go to them and I say, listen, you guys, they were from my town and they needed help. I was the help. I did a lot of good things in there. So I said, if they take you, I'm going to stand in line and I'm going to go with you guys. What happens? They take them, all 4 of them, take off my shit from the kitchen, I stay in line. They write me down. And the night, the officer comes in my barrack and says, come here, I want to talk to you. I said, what the hell did you do? You know where they take you? They take you to Russia. They're going to kill you. What the hell did you have to do there? I'm very upset with you. You went away, leave the kitchen and you go there. I say, I have those friends with me and I promised them I'm going to go with them. He says, I'm going to go and try to get you out. I say, please, Ermester, it was an Ermester, that's how I call him, Ermester. Just if you can take out my friends, otherwise please don't even start. You're nuts, you crazy? I'll be happy if I can take you out. And then don't start. I said, okay. He went away mad. Oh my God, he was so mad at me, didn't want to look at me.